Hey mate, nice to see you. Yeah, how are we doing?
Boiling, mate.
Boiling here. It's a warm day today, isn't it?
Yeah. I've been off today, luckily enough, so I've kind of been able to use a bit of the sunlight quite well. Took Brody for a long walk, cleaned out the car, all those little bits of carry on that you tend to do when you've got some like a pocket of time to do it.
How long has he been with you now?
Be 4 weeks on Saturday.
4 weeks on Saturday.
I know, it feels like a lifetime ago since we got him, to be honest. Since we were travelling down to Cardiff to go get him. Yeah.
How come did he go all the way down to Cardiff?
It's not really the location, it's the dog.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's where you had to go?
Yeah.
I just imagined it was family or something.
No. No, we found him for rescue. And when you see him, and that was kind of it. We kind of had a good idea that he was the one we wanted, and then when we went over there, he loved us and we loved him, and that was it. We took him home then and there.
He didn't particularly like me the other night, did he?
No. To be fair, you're not the only one he's done that to. So
I was the first, wasn't I? And then James. And then Andy Barlow.
Andy Barlow, he took two.
Did he?
Yeah, a little bit.
He must have been frightened by him.
Well, I think it did.
Because he's big, isn't he, Andy?
Yeah. Oh, printer's going in.
Yeah.
No, that being said, though, I'd taken him for a walk this afternoon, and there's just this lady who Brody made a beeline for her, and he made a beeline for her, and then she reached out to pet him, and he backed right off, and then started jumping up at her and barking.
Yeah.
I had to pull him back. It's like he knows what to do in a social situation to start it, but then when they reciprocate, he's got absolutely no idea, and he thinks they're out to get him or something. Yeah. Oh, can you be my friend? Whoa, I don't mean like that, kind of thing. Yeah, so that's kind of what you saw.
And hard to imagine life without him now.
Yeah, pretty much.
They get under your skin very, very quickly, don't they?
Yeah, and he's lovely. He is, and I'm glad he's here with us. I wish he'd, wake up in the morning at a reasonable hour, but then just slob about in bed like the rest of us. That would be nice, so that I could go out and, go running or do whatever it is I want to do at 5 a.m. without him pestering Jamie, because then she wakes up and she's, she then comes start firing bullets at me, so to speak. Yeah. Well, it happens, and she wants to sleep, she needs to sleep, and I'm the morning person.
I've raised 4 kids.
You have?
4 kids and a dog, so yeah, the comparison, I don't know. I can't remember now. You soon forget, don't you?
I'm not sure who sleeps better, to be honest. In that
the kids in the pipeline, like, anytime soon?
Nah, not for us.
No? Oh, right, never?
Not right now, no.
All right.
Maybe eventually, but... Yeah. I think a lot of my generation are kind of turning their back on having children. Just can't afford it.
Yeah, well, I read an article about women now and the change in the approach to having children. They're leaving it longer and longer.
Yeah.
And then if they don't find the right person, they're just not having children at all. So they want that career, children balance, and the right partner to father the child. And I don't know whether they're getting too picky. But it could come to the sort of the end of the 10 years when they're deciding they change their minds.
Possibly, yeah. What I'll say is I like quoting Ted Lasso for this one when he says,
Ted Lasso.
Yeah, when he says to when Roy Kent says to Rebecca, he says to her, you need someone who makes you feel like you've been struck by lightning. Don't settle for fine. And I quite like that one. And I suppose if that's the kind of the priority, then that's absolutely the right thing to go by, really. In terms of motherhood.
Well, population is on its way down, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they say.
It would make sense. Well, yeah, it makes sense. You've got China who's introduced that 2-children rule. I think Britain have introduced it to some degree in terms of claiming for benefits. So yeah, I think the population is on its way down.
I did read somewhere that at this stage now, or maybe 10 years from now, I'm not too sure which one it was, but the population should be 10 billion in the world, And it's nowhere near that now, is it? It's about 6, 7?
Yeah, it's about 6.
6 billion. Yeah, they reckon in order for, I don't know what the right word for it is, but for the world to continue progressing, the population needs to achieve 10 billion.
That doesn't sound very good to me.
Well, what we'll have is, right now we're having an ageing population, won't
True.
we? That'll die, and there's no more children, not enough children coming along. So in the years to come, those numbers will dwindle even further.
Oh, God. You might be right there. Well, I mean, I suppose you can't really lie with facts and anticipation, but no, you can't put that pressure on the world.
Deep and dark.
Oh, and the rest.
I'm just talking about me for a minute.
Yeah, go on.
I've been in terrible pain. I did me back in, didn't I? I did me back in originally carrying the lawnmower into the car to go and do Tower Hill.
Got to be careful with that.
And that seemed to be healing a little bit, and then God knows how I did it, but I had my arm above my head in bed the other night, and something just went in my back completely. So I've been on really, really strong painkillers, which is the worst thing that you can do, because the repercussions for that, I won't go into detail, but
the rest of your system
absolutely kicked me sideways.
Yeah.
So I won't be taking them anymore. I'll just carry on with the pain.
Well, look at if it's something like a strain, which it sounds like what it is, you're probably due to get like a warm compress on it, and then eventually go and see a sports therapist.
I'm going to have to do something, because what I've had in the past, I've had an operation, I've had 2 of my discs taken out, and I've had a cage grafted in there. Now, the 2 discs below that are bulging as well. It's like it's going to turn into a medical show, this, isn't it? But, so they've been taken out and cage grafted in, but the ones that are bulging again now, they're just below where they've operated, so they don't really want to operate. If they can avoid it, they want to avoid it. But then, as you know, calcification of bone, these spares grow over your bone, and then they trap the nerve.
God.
So yeah, you've got to just be very, very careful. Always think twice before I lift anything. You know,
yeah, please.
You carry on thinking that you're 20 years of age, and probably my own fault, because back in the day, I did a lot of weight training and didn't do it properly. You know, we're only in advanced sports science now. We know.
Yeah, in the last 20 years or so.
Yeah,
really.
we know there's a better way to do it. But hey,
there absolutely is. I suppose we better start the show, really.
Yeah, let's come to that stage. Yeah, let's start the show.
Cool.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ Vigette. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the second episode of Season 2. We should really introduce what the show is, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
It's the Speaking Frankly. Sorry, we'll start again. We'll start again. We'll keep that bit in, but we'll start again.
I thought I was about to say, I thought I'd come on just a little prick, but okay.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is Season 2, and alongside me is my co-host, AJ.
Hello, Frank. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to the second episode of the second season of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. It would appear that we are just like those kind of insects that can avoid nuclear warfare. We're just not going away anytime soon, and we're still there irritating you and crawling about in your ears, etc. So coming up on the show today, there's been a couple of changes on the North West Counties Football League setup. We're going to visit Southport, Daisy Hill, Morecambe, Atherton LR and the City of Liverpool before we then round it all off with Skelmersdale United, as we usually do. The fixtures, well, they're not full and fast and thick at this point, but we do have a couple of fixtures that we are going to look at in a little bit of detail, including ourselves and our game coming up on Saturday. So all of that is to come.
I'm going to do it all in one go today.
No
breaks, nothing like that.
If
we dry up and we get dry mouths, then we'll just have to
struggle on through like Louis Armstrong. Yeah, we've got no guest this week, so you'll just hear our dulcet tones all the way through, talking all things non-league.
Yeah, and talking about the fixtures, I did put a what's the word for it? I put a post out. Yeah, that's it. I put a post out asking for any pre-season friendlies in the Northwest. Not many people have got through to me, but we'll talk about at the end. We might find a few.
I think one person who replied said he was actually going to our own game as well.
Yeah.
I think he missed the point of the post.
He probably doesn't know that we host this show then.
No, I don't think he does. No.
But listen, anyway, you mentioned it there at the top of the show. The Northwest Counties Football League have announced their new chairman, which is they're delighted to announce that Chris Stirrup, who's also the chairman of AFC Liverpool, who we play on Saturday. He's the new chairman of the league. He takes over from Paul Lawler, who officially stood down from his position following the AGM. That was announced at the end of the previous year.
Yeah, so Chris Stirrup is on the league's ground safety officer, and he also serves on the discipline committee. No doubt you and he will have seen a fair bit of each other season before last.
No, I didn't actually.
You didn't see him?
No, I didn't see him. Didn't see anyone. Got a lot of bad mails.
I'm going to say you got a lot of emails from his department, though. Yeah. But speaking of his appointment, Chris Stirrup has said, "I am honoured to accept this opportunity to lead the board and the North West Counties Football League officers team. North West Counties is dear to my heart, and it promises to be a challenging period with licensing on the horizon and the ever-changing boundaries we find ourselves having to deal with. We have a great set of clubs in the league, all of who are as determined as myself to drive the league forward. I look forward to working with them over the next few years and making the North West Counties the best league that we possibly can." What a very sparky and ambitious and possibly naive little speech there.
Yeah.
The North West Counties chair is not for the faint of hearted.
No, and of course it's probably the last time that we ever had a current football chairman in the hot seat. We'll be back to the day of Dave Tomlinson, who was the chairman of Skem United Football Club. He
was the chair of the North West Counties.
Yeah, God bless him. He's since passed away, but he spent quite a while on the as the chairman of the North West Counties League.
Okay.
A bit of an odd one, really, because I didn't think I felt as though it might be a conflict of interest having a chairman of a football club as chairman of the league, but then I suppose when it comes to business about him, he has to step to one side.
Yeah, you know of course. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I suppose another note from the North West Counties as well, although this was quite easily well known beforehand, was the retirement and departure from the North West County setup of John Deal, the secretary of the league. So he made his intention that he was going to be leaving earlier on in the season, but at the AGM last week, he was ceremoniously bid farewell to the job. I'm not sure if there's any word yet on who is replacing him as secretary. I've not seen anything anyway, but that will be
announced
shortly, I would think, yes.
Well, listen, I'm not against the idea of new blood in the Northwest Counties. I felt as though it could be freshened up a little bit. No disrespect to the people that have been there for years, but I think, like everything, I've got my by date at Skem United Football Club.
Yeah.
I'm getting older, so when the time is right, I'll step to one side and let somebody else take over the hard work, because it's really, really difficult to run a football club when you're getting older, and I should imagine it's the same for the Northwest Counties, which huge responsibility anyway. Any setup in a sort of football league situation is hard work. But
yeah, most definitely. So, like I say, it's not really for the faint-hearted, but we do wish Chris Stirrup all the very best in his new role.
Most definitely. Not that we will see much of the Northwest Counties this season.
Not this season.
No.
Perhaps next season.
Well, yeah. Got to be. Well, you've got to be focused on what we can possibly do.
Exactly, but we'll come to that later on.
Yeah.
So, we'll go to the coast and to Southport FC. Now,
can I just mention the coast? You've gone to Southport. There's actually no sea in Southport.
Okay.
It's very, very rare the tide comes in.
This is true.
They've done something with it. I don't know what they've done, but I thought they put some...
Do you think they added a layer, did they?
They've done something with the sand. I don't...
Okay.
Is it fauna and fauna? Something biologically they've done which stopped... listen, somebody will correct me, and maybe somebody will actually mention it on one of the social medias. What's gone wrong with Southport? Why can't we get the sea at Southport? And why have we got no beach?
We'll have a geologist on as the next guest.
I love Southport, by the way.
Oh yeah, Southport's absolutely phenomenal. It's a lovely little town, and it hosts a rather brilliant football club, Southport FC. Now, earlier on in the year, we announced that David Cunningham and Kieran Malone would be the new owners of Southport FC, taking over from that charity. What was the name of the charity, Frank? Can you remember?
It was a charity, yeah. It was Peter Mitchell who was the chairman.
Yeah, sure.
The Big Hope charity.
Thank you. So they've taken over from the Big Hope charity, and they are now officially in the hot seat. Both very ambitious to see the club thrive, but their main aim is to make it a sustainable business. They believe the club has been run as a hobby in the past, and that is why it has struggled over the years. So both David Cunningham and Kieran Malone went on BBC Radio Merseyside and spoke to, I think it was Dave Mills in the sports section, and they had a good long interview with him, and they said that the club, and I don't think it was kind of understood by many people just how close the club was to going out of business. So there was some back and forth between the Hope charity and Cunningham and Malone into settling a price for purchase and the arrangements behind the transition into new ownership. And there was back and forth, and then Cunningham and Malone were informed that they had literal hours to agree to this arrangement. Otherwise, there would be no more Southport FC, as the owners had filed for bankruptcy. But they got the deal over the line, and they both looked at it from the inside and out, and they were very blown away with how badly it seemed to have been run. And I think
so they were actually close to administration, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
A little bit like Morecambe, but I'm getting confused with the two now.
Yeah, near enough. Administration may have been one thing. I think foreclosure would have probably been another one as well.
It's a difficult one, Southport, you see, because Southport, as far as I'm aware, it's a council-owned ground. So when you're selling the club, you're selling the trade name, aren't you?
Yeah.
And the debt.
Yes, you are.
If there's any debt, and that seems to be a regular occurrence amongst non-league football clubs, or even further higher up that sort of level as well into the professional ranks.
Well, I mean, we've examined it in some detail with, as you say, with Morecambe FC, Accrington, Stanley, Bury, Macclesfield. All of them have befallen poor finances in the last few years. But anyway, Cunningham and Malone are in now, and they are looking at how they can run the club as a sustainable business. So they are they're local boys, the pair of them. They're both Merseysiders. So David is a Everton fan and Kieran is a Liverpool fan.
All right, good cross section there.
Absolutely. And they were both drawn to non-league football because of a disconnect that a lot of fans, I would say, are feeling from the Premier League pricing. Tickets are really expensive, and more and more clubs seem to be going for this idea of encouraging day trippers in, people who would want a tour of the facilities, have a premium seat, buy a lot of merchandise as well. Whereas the regular fans go and watch the game, have a pint, but then you still have to pay for the to watch the football on TV as well. So that was where they got drawn into more non-league football. They've both gone to watch Southport quite constantly before looking to invest and support. So they were going to just sponsor the club initially, and then it was snowballed into ownership. Is their words?
It's easy to get sucked in.
It really is easy to get sucked in. I know that just as much as anybody else. But they sell property. That's their game. That's how they've made their money. Is that they sell high end property as well to footballers and people with a lot of money. They said they've already matched the budget from last year, which they say was a very competitive budget, but was just used poorly. And they brought Neil Dans in, the former Birmingham City player. Neil Dans is now the new manager.
Was the assistant manager at Tranmere as well?
I think he was the assistant manager at Tranmere, yeah. So I think he was brought in the off-season, wasn't he? But he says that Dan's goals very much align with the current ownership and the current strategy, and then more of a focus on young, exciting players rather than what the last arrangement seemed to have, which was a lot of elder statesmen from the higher leagues. So a lot of positives coming out of Southport today.
It's a difficult balancing act being in the National League North, because if you recruit too low, you're recruiting a lack of experience. So, you have to recruit higher up, and that means it's costing more to get players to drop down.
Yeah, it is.
Interestingly, I don't know whether it was either David or Kieran had said that they believe there's only a certain level that they can take the football club up to, because they haven't got bottomless pockets.
No, they don't. No.
So yes, they're very ambitious, but they're also considerate the fact that they've got the limitations. As well, which is a good thing. It's not nice to see people going in there full of flannel and suggesting that they're going to take them into the Football League when realistically it's all about stabilising Southport.
It really is. Now. And to be honest, I think a lot of Southport fans at this time would be more of the idea to just be a bit more competitive in the middle of the. I think
they've seen too much of false promises, haven't they, over the last few years?
Yeah.
It's a fabulous football club. I've had the sort of privilege of working for Southport for a short period of time, and I know that the supporters are really, really passionate. They've got a good hardcore of supporters, and they deserve a lot more than they've been dished out with in recent years. So you can only wish them all the best, and they're young as well, aren't they? So it's great being ambitious, but when you're young, you've got a bit of energy as well.
Yeah, that's true, and I feel like that Southport team probably need a lot more energy than what they were giving at the tail end of last season. I think their form at the back end of last season was pretty dour, and I think they were sort of quite lucky that teams like Farsley Celtic, Rushall Olympic were quite long since down and out, weren't they? Yeah, that they were able to.
They were looking like relegation fodder at one stage, weren't they? And then, like you say, towards the end of the season, the sort of foot came off the accelerator, and it looked as though Well, certainly looked as though they'd given up for that season.
Yeah.
But yeah, the supporters deserve far more.
I think so.
Good luck to Dave Cunningham and Kieran Malone.
Very much so. Yes, good luck, gents.
Yeah. Moving on to Daisy Hill.
Yeah.
Daisy Hill. I mean, we've talked about Daisy Hill last season since Aaron Hunt took over as the chairman stroke owner.
Yes.
Now, they seem to be fairly ambitious, and they're backing that up with their latest signing, Chad White. Now, he brings quality and experience to the team that they've certainly not had over the last few years. He's scored 118 goals in 168 starts in the Northwest Counties, with a large proportion of them coming in the Premier Division. So, I'm not saying that anybody's laughed at it or become sort of wary of the fact that it's a social media influencer that took over the football club, but it certainly seems to be setting the Northwest Counties alive, and it'll be interesting to see what their gates will be this season.
Yeah, very much so. So I'll start with Daisy Hill's gates first of all. So they are pulling in more followers now on social media than we are. So are particularly prevalent as on Instagram, where they have, I think, just over 16,000 followers. So that is very big for a provincial club within the Northwest. And Chad White, I think, is the kind of strategy that they were looking to bring in to a degree. So to kind of put it into perspective, on the 2nd of July, Chad White announced that he would be staying at New Mills for the 25-26 season, and New Mills actually echoed that as well and said that he was staying. He'd made 50 appearances and scored 10 goals for them, and then just 2 days ago, so that would make it the 8th. So just 6 days later, Daisy Hill then put out that they've signed Chad White. Now, from my perspective, I know that New Mills made a bit of a great escape from the Northwest Counties South last season. And Daisy Hill represents a bit more of an exciting proposition in terms of ambition. They're a bit higher up the league, and now they've got a bit more firepower behind them. And I suppose this is the first influx of a muscle flex from the new ownership, because Chad White won't have been cheap. He's got a lot of experience. He knows his worth within this area of football, and he says that it's his job to come in and pass on his experience and contribute with a goal or two. Now, I think that this is a marquee signing.
Yeah, say that.
Absolutely. Well, he's played for Marine. And he's played for St Helens Town, where he scored an awful lot of goals. He also played for Skem.
Yeah, how old is he now?
33.
33, so he's
not
still
old.
A reasonably good age.
No, he's not old. Not compared to another person that we're going to be talking about a bit later on in the show, who's also a striker.
I know, yeah. Talking about signings, though, I mean, I think anybody that puts up that they've retained a player before they've actually signed them on a registration form, I think that they're asking for trouble.
Yeah, so I'm a bit confused by this one, Frank. So are you saying that Chad White had to have put pen to paper to be retained by New Mills?
Well, New Mills, which division are they in?
The Northwest Counties South.
Are they? Yeah, that's right, they are. So, yeah, in order for him to have signed for New Mills, he would have had to sign a Northwest Counties registration form. Okay. So, and I don't know whether the rule exists during non-season, but this sort of close season is then he would have to technically. Daisy Hill would have had to put 7 days' notice in on him. Okay. But I don't know whether the first registration requires a 28-day pass before you can sign a player. I would imagine it's probably 7 days' notice. Somebody will listen, can no doubt educate us on that one. But nobody is anybody's player until they start that season, and then even then, they get offered an extra tenner and they're off.
Yeah. I mean, goodness knows we've had that often enough last season.
The appeal, though, here for Chad will be, and we're going to come to it in a minute, the renaming of the stadium. But the appeal for him will be the social media pull.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because I think you can make more out of social media in terms of merchandising if you're clever. Than you would through supporters coming through your gate and sponsorship. This is definitely a test sort of dummy run for any non-league football club at this level, to see whether you can bring influencers into a club to improve your financial prowess as well as your visibility.
Yeah.
So I think it's an interesting one. But listen, let's talk about a few days later, after the signing of Chad White. The news was announced that Angry Ginge... Oh, sorry, this was before, wasn't it? It was before Chad White came. They've renamed the stadium to the Ginge Power Stadium after Angry Ginge. So they've doubled up their visibility, no end, by doing it. And I know it makes some people cringe and think, it's all gimmicky, we all know that. But it's great. You just mentioned before about their social media presence. They've overtaken us.
They have.
Daisy Hill. And who's to say in a few years' time there might be an advert on telly saying Daisy Hill. Who are they?
This is true.
This can grow arms and legs.
This really could grow arms and legs. It would also imply that Angry Ginger's probably put a little bit of money into the club as well.
But he would have done for the naming rights.
Yes, he would, exactly, with the stadium naming rights, which previously belonged to the Plum Hill factory, which I think are a sort of plumbing group. I think they are. But now it's the Ginge Power Stadium, and I think a lot of reinvestiture is going into the stadium. I think they're looking at getting a new pitch relayed, as well as overhauling the facilities in the clubhouse. So a lot of work being done down in Bolton.
Yeah, and you have to say that the likes of Alan Hunt and Angry Ginge, they're just serving their apprenticeship in non-league football, so they're doing fairly well, considering they've had to sort of stagger the way through it.
I think you're probably right. It was a strong end to the season from Daisy Hill. I think they...
That was an excellent end to the season.
I think they were unbeaten in their last 5 games, something like that, and they're quite clearly on the way to wanting to push for the playoffs. So they've retained a good chunk of the team that performed last season, including their top scorer Declan Barlow and the captain, I think it's Jacob Ridings. So there are a few players staying, and now they are starting to sign some good proven talent within the division. So it'll be really interesting to see whether they can match your perennial powerhouses like Droylsden and Holker Old Boys for promotion.
I'm throwing a curveball into the equation. Angry Ginge, do you think he could be the next manager of Daisy Hill? He's had a go at it, hasn't he? What's this called? This league that he was in?
Oh, the E-League, wasn't it?
What it was called, but it was televised on Sky, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't watch it myself personally. I don't know whether it was on Sky or it was on YouTube, but he certainly had a go at managing. I wonder.
I think you've got to earn your stripes a little bit more than that. I think there's playing stunts with your name and with your social media pull, and then there's actually infecting the running of a club in a
But where did Mark
way.
White start? At Dorking?
I don't know where he started, but he's qualified in his own right, isn't he?
Well, he certainly is now. And like I said, Dave Pace served his apprenticeship at Droylsden, or owner,
Well,
and
how
then
long
become
ago
the manager.
was that?
Oh, it's a long time now.
Yeah, exactly.
He took them to the Football League as well, didn't he? So it doesn't matter what level of experience you think you've got or you have got. The pull, money, finances can help you to get further up the ladder.
I feel like that's not where Angry Ginger and Aaron Hunt are going with Daisy Hill at this point. They've got quite a solid management team. Lee. Is it Lee Hill?
Lee Hill's the manager.
So Lee Hill is the manager there. Proven.
He's quite a character in himself.
Yes, very much a character in himself, as Andy Barlow will attest to. I don't think Lee Hill will be one for shifting. In fact, I think he was, part of the alignment that got Aaron Hunt in to own the football club in the first place.
Pseudo management. To be seen as the manager while Lee's working in the background. I'm giving them ideas here, by the way.
You are. Maybe we should quit while we're ahead here.
Yeah. We'll quit but listen, don't forget when we had Pascal Chimbonda and he was serving a 5-match stadium ban. Everybody suggested when he signed on as a player, he signed on to evade the ruling, which wasn't the case. We just needed a right back. And he filled that slot for us. But listen, if it does happen, you've heard it here first.
Yes, you have. One more little news snippet on Angry Ginge. So a few days after the announcement that the stadium was going to be renamed the Ginge Power Stadium, Angry Ginge was arrested on suspicion of causing criminal damage to an F1 car at Silverstone during the British Grand Prix. Following a thorough investigation into the circumstances, he, alongside 2 other men, were released without any further action. And as we said before, apart from the publicity surrounding the club, they look pretty serious about competing at the top end alongside your big boys within Division 1 football, Droylsden, Holker Old Boys, everyone.
Listen, we'll certainly be watching their progress during next season. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
It will be interesting to see what happens. Now then, we'll go back to the coast and to Morecambe. So Morecambe have in effect been saved. So last week you may remember that we talked about their chairman, Jason. What's his name? Jason Whittingham? Is it something like that?
Yeah.
Jason something. Anyway,
it's close.
Yes, close enough. But anyway, Morecambe were very close to being put under administration due to poor funding. In effect, they've been relegated from the Football League, where now it would seem that a buyer is in place. So the buyers are called the Punjab Warriors, and they're a consortium based in Middlesex that deal in sporting ventures. I checked out their website. They said their goals are to create sustainable sporting clubs and become beacons of excellence, and they feel like Morecambe is the ideal place to start that. They've already been packed with Morecambe scarves outside the old ground. And it feels like terms had been agreed and that the deal is set to be complete on Monday. The club's board of directors had already stepped down while the deal was still to be concluded. But in a statement made on Wednesday, Jason Whittingham has said that an unidentified buyer had worked over the past 24 hours to pay outstanding wages, as well as agreeing contracts pending the approval of a sale by the National League. He has already started preparing documentation for the National League to give their approval for the sale and confirmed his financial support for the club this season, providing his takeover is approved. This buyer will make their own statement shortly to introduce themselves and set out their plans for the club over the coming seasons. Further announcements are set to follow once the deal is concluded.
So are they actually getting taken over by the Punjab? Warriors or not?
It would certainly seem that way, yeah. So
because it suggests that there was a last minute bid by another UK buyer.
Yeah, I think that was the claim, but from all intents and purposes, what I'm saying, what I'm seeing, pardon me, is that Punjab Warriors are still very much in the hot seat as far as ownership of Morecambe is concerned. That's what I'm sort of seeing at this point.
Because there's a suggestion that because Punjab Warriors would have had to have passed several stringent tests by the English Football League before it could be approved. So anybody that was coming in last minute now would also have to be. They'd have to go through the same stringent tests. Whether they can get that over the line. I don't know. All very mysterious to me. I think there's a few people that are not too convinced it's happening.
That's interesting. Because, as I say, I'm seeing sort of the official statements from Punjab Warriors coming out, and it seems pretty final that they are, going to take over the club. Yeah. Even the MPs got involved. Morecambe and Lunarsdale MP Lizzie Collins just called for a sale as soon as possible. So, I mean, all we can do is kind of watch that unfold, really. Yeah.
There's no up-to-date information, though, on Punjab.
Not particularly, no.
Punjab, which is it?
Punjab.
Interesting one. Well,
it is an interesting one.
Looking at it would be sort of in between the lines. A lot of supporters are still not convinced that anything has happened. I mean, that was 23 hours ago, wasn't it, the last statement?
Yes, it was. Yeah, so you'd expect something to come out, very, very soon. We're talking hours. Yeah.
So the last statement was Bond Group are pleased to announce that agreements will be signed this evening, which was
Tuesday, wasn't it?
Tuesday or Wednesday, in relation to the sale of Morecambe. A last minute bid came through, so there must be somebody else from a UK buyer. After learning about the club's situation, the buyer has worked over the last 24 hours to turn around a payment to his solicitors for wages to be paid and agreed contracts pending approval for the sale by the National League. Has already started preparing documentation for National League to give their approval for the sale and confirmed his financial support for the club this coming season, providing his takeover is approved. But by the sounds of it, it's somebody else who's come in.
That would really put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, we've got a quick turnaround on that one.
It seems really silly to try and entertain something like this that's coming in at the last minute, because surely, if you're a business owner looking to invest your money into taking over a football club, you'd have your ducks all in an order well before this. Yeah,
listen, we'll no doubt hear more about that. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not saying we're sort of blagging this one a little bit here, but we're looking for the latest information as we go because it changes from minute to minute. But listen, we hope Morecambe has been saved.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah, it's a great footballing institute. It is along that coastline on the northwest. You got your Blackpool, Fleetwood, Morecambe. Thornton Cleveland's. AFC Blackpool themselves.
AFC Fylde, did you mention that?
AFC Fylde, I suppose you're right, really. If you think about it on the coastline, I mean, they're just right on the edge of the motorway, to be honest. Squires Gate. Anyway, we could just name the Fylde coastline clubs all day. What I will say is they're a good institution and they deserve to stay up and stay in business. Atherton LR.
Well, listen, I wanted to mention Atherton LR. You brought it up. You told me that so it's called the documentary that they've made is 4 games, 1 shot, the final push.
Yes, it is.
Now, after months of waiting, the final push, so it's called the final push, is now available on their YouTube channel.
Yes.
Now, last season when we went to play Atherton LR, I was interviewed.
So was I.
You were interviewed as well, and neither of us made the final cut.
We did not know, so
really disappointed with
that. We have naturally gone down to Crilly Park and voiced our displeasure to the head of media, Caden Openshaw, and Sean Lynch, the chair at How Dare They Waste Our Time. No, not at all. Not at all.
But listen, fantastic little documentary there by Atherton LR, and great applause go to Caden, as you say. And listen, if you get the chance to watch it, watch it. It resonates really, really well with any non-league football club.
Oh, properly, yeah. I was really drawn into how much unity there was within Atherton LR, and Dave Jones being the voice of calm and reason at the centre of a yellow and blue storm as his side started to chase 3 trophies and promotion. It's kind of ridiculous, really, that they managed to get that one over the line.
And it kind of backs up what I've been saying about social media. Everybody now is using social media as a platform to promote their football club, and there's no better way of doing it. And I love watching these documentaries on non-league football clubs. I love it. I love the Wrexham story before they got promoted back to the Football League. That was good in itself. And sometimes you like watching Aaron Hunt when he's talking about his football club, and you see those little shots of what's going on.
You're right, and I think it is growing. I think Caden in himself is a student in media. I think that's his that's his educational outlet, and he's actually, I believe, submitted this documentary for the Wigan and Lee Film Festival. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, hopefully that wins, because as I say, it's a really, really good behind the scenes look at non-league football at our level, where actually documentaries like that are quite few and far between.
And Mark White, would we say he was the trendsetter for all of this, the Blaze trailer?
I'm not sure, actually. I don't know enough about Mark White to kind of...
I've still not got round to watching the documentary, but he does...
the Dorking Wanderers one?
Yeah, on YouTube. It's supposed to be fascinating. Everybody that I've spoken to that's watched that says he's done every single job at the football club, as most people do at non-league level.
I suppose they do, really, yeah. I say you're one step away from being the chairman, the manager, really, but equally one step away from working on the turnstiles.
Yeah,
it's and all of everything in between. But huge applause to Caden, and go and watch that YouTube documentary. It's called Atherton LR, The Final Push.
Yeah. Moving on to Vauxhall Motors, former Football League player Kevin Ellison is committed to another season with Vauxhall Motors. He joined last season when the club were tipped to go down. But they had a tremendous season, only to be beaten in the semi-finals of the Northern Premier League West playoffs. Kev is 46 years of age, and he weighed in with 15 goals last season. He's certainly a credit to his profession.
It's just outrageous, isn't it? He's 46 years old, he's still playing, and he's still scoring 15 goals for the season. I mean, that is goal poacher's instincts right there in a nutshell. And I think we talked about it, and three of his goals came against Clitheroe when they lost 3-0, weren't they? They were, and then they came back to draw 3-3. But he's a credit to his profession, and clearly commits himself to it in much the same way that somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo probably does as well. If he's still got the capacity to move at that level at the age of 46, he's doing something right, and we should probably go and try and find out what it is.
Yeah, and listen, I've been privileged enough to watch him. He played against us in the FA Vars the season before last, when he was playing for Runcorn Town, and if memory serves me correct, I think he might have scored against us as well. We lost, and we ended up getting kicked out of the FA Vars. So, although I applaud him, for his prowess and his ability to carry on playing at 46 years of age, I still can't forgive him for knocking out of the FA Vars. But there you go.
That's all it matters.
Small price to pay.
Yeah. So we're going to go purple now.
Purple?
Yes. City of Liverpool. They and Burscough Football Club have confirmed that they have entered into a ground share agreement for the City of Liverpool to play at the community ground in Burscough for the next 2 seasons. So Paul Gilchrist, the chairman at Burscough, said, "We look forward to welcoming the City of Liverpool FC to the community ground. I'm confident that the volunteers, members, supporters and football staff will enjoy the fantastic facilities that we have on offer. We're excited to make them feel truly welcome and at home." Now, Paul Manning, on behalf of the Board of Directors at City of Liverpool, said, "We are delighted to play at the community ground and look forward to working with Paul and his team at Burscough FC. We'd like to thank Bruce and all the staff at DCBL for their help, along with the committee at North West Counties for allowing us to make this move so close to the start of the season. Our first game at our new home is on Saturday the 2nd of August in the FA Cup against Exton Villa. There is a new bar at the ground with a balcony overlooking the pitch and good food available." As the Football Association approved this late change of venue, Chris Stirrup said, "It's pleasing to see member clubs helping each other out, and we as a league wish both clubs the best of luck with this new venture, with thanks to the Football Association for their support in this matter."
Yeah, best of luck to City of Liverpool. I've got to be careful mentioning names because I've been told off before. So the man formerly known as he's managed to secure a ground share agreement with City of Liverpool. Now, what I will say is, because people have been questioning this matter before, if you've already got a ground share agreement in place before the 31st of March, and let's say, i.e., as an example, City of Liverpool still had a ground share agreement with Witness, and it was signed off before the 31st of March, that is legal and above board. If they so choose then to change where their ground share agreement is, as long as the ground is up for graded, is graded satisfactorily for that level, then they're more than welcome to ground share elsewhere. So I'm not... what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to get involved in any bitter sort of slanging match here, and I certainly don't want the supporters to think anything untoward has happened. Just wish City Liverpool the best of luck. I think they're going to struggle this season. They're making signings as we speak. They've managed to sign 2 of our old players on, Harrison and Ruben Denton.
Yeah, they've joined the City of Liverpool. That was announced today. Jason Clark, former Skem United central defender, is also expected to sign for them within the coming days. The Denton brothers impressed in the pre-season friendly against Derby Arms, and both of them managed to get on the score sheet. So City of Liverpool got 2 very talented players in their ranks. So we hope for the best for Ruben and Harrison and the City of Liverpool. It has caused a storm on social media, though, as I'm sure you would expect. So a lot of it is to do with the City of Liverpool not actually playing in Liverpool. I know Burscough holds an L postcode, but to all intents and purposes it is the very outer stretches of Merseyside and the City of Liverpool in itself. With a lot of people questioning why they can't make a ground share agreement closer to home with another Liverpool-based
we've been
club.
in that situation, so we can sympathise.
We absolutely can sympathise. I think, though, that where the line sort of starts to differ between us is that Skelmersdale are a bit of an isolated club. You know, we're not based in a city centre. We're based in a town, with the exception of Burscough, who are sort of down the road, and St Helens, who are about a dozen miles in the opposite direction. We don't really have any neighbours, whereas City of Liverpool have South Liverpool, AFC Liverpool, Bootle, Litherland, Remica, Muggle, if you're really sort of pushing about. So there's a lot of different areas that they I'm sure are available, and that Paul Manning will have explored. So that's kind of one major facet: is, are City and Liverpool fans expected to travel that far for the home games, and will they actually do it? City of Liverpool were known to be pulling in excess of 600 fans per home game in their heyday, and you have to wonder whether they're going to bring in that kind of number this time around. Frank, what do you think?
Well, I certainly think from their perspective, the stakeholders that they previously had at the football club have probably walked away at this stage, and that's why they were tumbling down the Northern Premier League last season. They had probably a record similar to ours, didn't they? It was. I don't think they.
Yeah, I think they were in a bit of free fall, to be honest. They lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of good players, including Danny Midgley and Elliot Morris, two of our own stars from the yesteryears. Kenny Strickland as well. Yeah, so they had to scrape together with what they had, and I think this is they're trying to see this, and I certainly would think that they are using this as an opportunity for a bit of a reset, where they rebuild the squad under new management, and try and make a bit of a challenge.
Give them due consideration, because it would have probably been at this stage really, really easy to give up
and fold.
Yeah, it would have been. But listen, the other thing, of course, is that they were subject to a takeover, weren't they, at one stage? There was a group of people that were going to take over from Paul Manning. But it didn't quite happen.
Yeah, I think
for numerous reasons.
Well, didn't they want it to become a fan-owned club? Wasn't that the original idea?
I think originally it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it became privately.
I think it's probably, the argument is it's probably being run as a privately owned football club when it should be a fan-run club. But listen, I'm just speculating there.
Yes.
Whatever's happened there, it's unfortunate. We don't like to see any club struggling, because at the heart of it is, there's a group of supporters there that love the football club and want to see it do it all its best. All we can say is that, they'll be going to a really, really nice stadium with great facilities as well. So the relationship between the two poles, should be
fairly strong and cooperative. I mean, they've signed the agreement in for 2 seasons rather than what is, I think, quite a standard rolling season by season agreement. So Paul Manning and Paul Gilchrist both really feel that this is a venture worth having, and that City of Liverpool will still be in existence come what may in the 26-27 season. I think the other aspect of social media fallout that was mentioned is there are a lot of clubs in and around our division that are seen to be nomadic. So we are one. City of Liverpool are another. You've got AFC Liverpool that are ground sharing.
The difference between us and AFC Liverpool and City of Liverpool, these clubs were started up and ground shared straight from the off.
Yeah.
Whereas we've been kicked out of various stadiums and ended up where we are through that, rather than, our roots were deeply 143-year history was largely spent in Skelmersdale until recent years. So that's the big difference. I think when you're looking at funding a new stadium or getting a new piece of land, particularly in Liverpool, and if you want to stay in the sort of close proximity to Liverpool 1 area, or sort of the outer skirts of that, then me personally, is there a great deal of sympathy for people for football clubs that have started from scratch? I think, but once they're there and they've got a heritage that becomes a history, then.
But should their heritage be based on having a nomadic existence when most football clubs don't live like that?
But we're in that position now.
We're in that position now,
for different reasons.
Yeah,
for different reasons, and I think it's a difficult one, that, because if you're a supporter and you just imagine the kids that have gone through the system at City of Liverpool, then the longer that they support that football club, it becomes part and parcel of their DNA, and that's difficult for them. So I'm not opposed to teams starting from scratch and ground sharing, but I just think it dilutes the system and the leagues, and makes it more difficult for clubs like Skem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely it does. And I'm not in any way suggesting that that the time-honoured tradition of Skem actually having its own club within Skem is anywhere like the nomadic existence of these clubs. What I do wonder is, should the league allow an inception of a football club that has purely nomadic intended roots, without any kind of intention or plan to have a piece of land? What do you think?
Yeah, I think with City of Liverpool, when they started, they had a huge fan base, and I think from a sort of safety perspective, the Northwest Counties were forced into them, allowing them to accepting them into the non-league football pyramid. I think for future clubs that are started that way, I think then there's definitely a question to be answered there, and whether they continue to allow football clubs with no ground of their own to join the Northwest Counties. I think it's a serious question that needs to be answered, and I don't think it will be, because the likes of FC United, when they started off, they were thousands of supporters, weren't they?
They were. That was a bit more of a different feel, though, wasn't it? Because that was a protest club against the takeover of the Glazers in 2005. Now, I actually have seen FC United play very much in their infancy, if you like. So I went and saw them in 2007, so they're only 2 years old at this point. They played Rosendale United, and they won 2-0. And now bear in mind, Rosendale's average turnout at that time was about 130, something like that one. By the end of the game, because of how many supporters FC United had brought with them, the actual attendance was a little under 2,100. So FC United already had around about 1,800 strong fan base before they'd even started, and then it's grown and grown and grown, and now they have a 4,000 seater stadium in Moston. It's very different though to Liverpool when you think about how many clubs are based within the city of Manchester and the city of Liverpool. So Manchester have Avro, they have Abbey Hay, they've got Bury, but they don't really have any within kind of the Rochdale Oldham area, obviously apart from the two professional clubs really. Whereas Liverpool in its city centre have City of Liverpool,
unbelievable,
AFC Liverpool, South Liverpool,
Lower Breck,
you name it.
There's loads of them now.
There's loads of them. Loads of these clubs are just getting incepted left, right, and centre.
There's still a similarity. And what I'd say to you is that they were founded in 2005, so they're 20 years of age now. It was only 10 years on, 2015, when Broadhurst Park was built. So they spent their early, a decade playing a nomadic existence as well before they got their own stadium. It's a success story.
It is.
But they had to do an awful lot of fighting to get that stadium.
They will have done, yeah. They'll have had to obtain, land, planning permission, funding, all of that carry on. But you've kind of got to think about where they started to begin with. I say, they've got literal thousands of fans going there and watching them play, and they're in, which league are they in now? Are they in the Northern Prem?
They're in the Northern Premier Division.
There we go. So they're in the Northern Premier League proper, in effect, if you like. Yeah. So 20 years has kind of been culminated in them kind of getting from where we are now all the way up to there, and they're still going strong. They're still really well funded, and they're still funded, as a sustainable business. Whereas City of Liverpool, granted, they've just dropped out of the Northern Premier League West back into the Northwest Counties, but so they've kind of dropped not only on the pitch but also off the pitch as well. And you have to wonder whether that kind of run is sustainable. I think you have to be seen to have a business plan over 5-10 years and have the legs to back it up, and I just don't think City of Liverpool ever had that but I do think FC United and Manchester did.
I don't think that was ever in the rule book, but it should be certainly moving forward. I think they should be looking at the sustainability of football clubs ground sharing.
Yeah,
and that, to be perfectly honest with you, puts us in a little bit of a predicament there as well.
It does put us in a little bit of a predicament, but if you think about, we've only been nomadic for 5 years. When we kicked out
yeah, on and off. Then we had the first sort of foray into the nomadic existence. We were playing at Prescott for a while.
Yes.
And then eventually we moved to the JMO, and like you say, it's 3 years now since we're going into our 4th year of ground sharing.
Exactly. So we're only 4 years into it, knowing as well that we are actively looking for a place to move into, a place to live, and if the league were asking for evidence as to how we've got a business plan together to show that we want to move back into our own ground, we could give them that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You ask City of Liverpool, do they have that?
Yeah.
I think that's something that Chris Stirrup might have to bear in mind.
One of his first jobs as the new chairman. But listen, we move on to, because we're doing all this in one shoot, we move on to Skelmersdale United Football Club before we look at some of the fixtures this weekend. Nobody's really come forward with any fixtures, but we'll mention them in a minute. But Skem United, we had our first win of the season, the pre-season. As it was, the first pre-season game against a Marine Select 11. And I mentioned the Select 11 because it was under 23s and a mixture of them with some trialists as well. But taking nothing away from the lads whatsoever, a lot of our players are under 23 as well.
They are.
And to do what we did on Saturday felt good.
It really did feel good, yeah. So I turned up just in time to watch it. I had to put a bit of a sprint on to park in the cars, and a bloody nightmare around Marine if you don't turn up on time.
Yeah.
I had to park down one of the side streets and run. But we had a lot of new players, a lot of players who never played before. I think we'd retained about 3 players on match day from our squad last season. Okay, so that was all we had, and 2 of them started. One of them was on the bench. So if you think about how much work that we had to do to try and gel and to blend, and it looked fantastic. Like there were some really positive signs there, some positive play.
Nervy start.
Bit of a nervy start, but you would expect that as well. Of course you would. And particularly in that stadium, playing your first game in that stadium, that's got to be a bit of a knock in the knees, if you like.
Yeah, definitely. But I think they did well.
Yes, they did, 100%.
Yeah, I think it was a good game to watch from both perspectives. It was in very, very humid conditions. I think the goalkeeper made a fantastic debut. He was outstanding, to say the least. Yeah,
you did have a really promising debut. Done a lot of positives around that one.
Leighton Rimmer looks like a totally different player from last season. We know he's a good player, but he looks to be fitter, sharper, a bit more of a command. Along his box, knows where to play the ball. He just marshalled the back line so well. And Sam Summerby played.
Sam Summerby doing what Sam Summerby does, picking up the ball and using his vision, and then his right foot. That was all Sam Summerby needed to do. Did it really well.
So talking about the pre-season, we're training at Tower Hill Road at the moment. So I think we're reducing our timings on that. I think we're just going to be training on a Tuesday now up till the start of the season, because we've got games coming thick and fast. But I went down on, was it Tuesday morning? I went with my lawnmower with James down to the ground, took the lawnmower off out of the car, let James get on with it, and then went to see me Uncle James. And I said to James, the mower sounds a little bit dodgy. I did a few sort of lengths myself on it. I said, it sounds a bit dodgy, just keep an eye on it. And maybe 2 hours into the cut, it broke down, and it's currently in the hospital now getting surgery. I don't know how much it's going to cost me, but so that anyway, it's as things sort of happen. Every couple of weeks, the the pitch does get cut by the council. So within 5 minutes of talking to James, and James is saying to me, listen, it's packed in as well, don't try starting it again, I'll come and pick you up. And then like the Alamo over the hill, is that the right terminology? The council cutter came along and saved the day and cut all the pitches for us. So
Perfect.
Yeah, it was great. We managed to get it all cut.
Yeah,
in time for Tuesday night.
Yeah, very productive session there.
Not
quite as many in number as what we'd had previously.
Yeah.
But Josh, the strength and conditioning coach, put them through their paces.
Great asset to the football club. Great addition.
Very much so. Yeah, allowed Tommy and Andy a really good show of the kind of engines these lads have got, and where their conditioning needs to be changed. And then football-based drills were to follow. Yeah,
and it's got to be, of a night time, it's got to be one of the coldest places on the planet during summer. I had
because of how exposed it is. Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. I was not only that, I was getting bits of buggery by I know the crunching noises. You could have kept the bottle open.
Sorry,
but what was I saying?
You were getting bitten to death.
Oh, I was getting bitten to death. It was awful. It was absolutely awful, but yeah, another good session in the bank.
Yeah.
We're looking at pre-season friendlies. Not many have been mentioned, but just to mention ours first of all, we've got AFC Liverpool on Saturday. That is at the
Sefton thingy.
The details on the.
We Facebooked it.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook, it's on X, it's on Instagram. Just go and have a look on there.
It's somewhere. I'll tell you what it is. It's the Liverpool FA Sefton 4G. It's L23 9YP. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. If you can get down there, really, really be appreciated. And then because we've got a gap then, only a small gap till... doesn't make any sense this at all, does it? But on Monday, we play Formby, who play at the JMO Sports Park.
That's bizarre.
Whiskey November 8, and I've forgotten the rest of it, BX.
Bravo X-ray.
Yeah, Bravo X-ray. So that's Monday the 14th of July. That kickoff is at 8 o'clock. Looking at a couple more friendlies that are this Saturday.
Yep.
Hyde United entertain Runcorn Linnets. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff, believe it or not. And Bury have got a huge friendly at home to Chester on Saturday. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Listen, if it could be anywhere, I'd probably be there. But for the fact that we're playing ourselves, that would be a great game to go and watch.
That would be a really good game to go and watch as well. Yeah, is that the only ones that we've?
That's the only ones that people have sort of come up with. Yeah, it's an odd one. I've been looking, but what we used to have, I think, on what's it called? On the North West Counties website, they always used to feature the friendlies, but whether people have not been, not been given the friendly fixtures into them, I don't know.
Yeah,
we're just trying to look here to see if there's anything else of note, but
not
I'm struggling to find it.
Yeah, no, there's not an awful lot going on.
We're not getting told of what's going on. That's the problem. So listen, if you want your friendly featured on the Speaking Frankly Football Show, then you know where we are.
Just get in touch.
For
£20, we will talk about it.
Yeah, we'll advertise your game, get a few more people on the gate, a bit more money. So if you want to advertise the game, come to us.
It's the one.
You've heard it once, you've heard it twice.
You've heard it all before.
Yeah, but listen, it's an interesting pre-season for us.
Yeah.
And I think there might be one more addition to our pre-season schedule. That might be on the week before, on the Saturday before. That's to be confirmed yet.
9th, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm not going to name names yet in case it puts somebody in bother. But we have got a pre-season lined up for that particular date.
Yeah. You can have a look at the rest of our friendly fixtures coming up on all our social media sites, though. We've got a few really good ones in store, which I'm sure will test the lads. Test their readiness ahead of the new season in the Liverpool Counties Premier, which I think, after having seen the performance on Saturday, we are just a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah, early doors, and as we know, players come and go quickly between now and then. Yeah. Listen, so we sort of finished the show really, really early. It feels like an odd one.
It's a bit of a special, isn't it? Really, just a shorter special episode.
People might listen to this more because it's shorter.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we'd have to.
Or then they might realise there's no guest on it and they won't bother listening at all.
We'd have to garner some feedback on that one. Yeah.
To be fair, when we've done just the one-to-one shows, the ratings are fairly good. So.
This is absolutely true. Yeah.
So listen, we come to that stage of the day which we'll be asked the question, what have you learned this week so far?
What I have learned is that... Oh, my God. That's a good point. I think what I've learned is that social media, without a doubt, is a huge crux for football clubs. It may not directly bring in a lot of money, but it does bring in a lot of pull, a lot of attention. And I think that football clubs across the country, up and down the divisions, should be playing social media to their absolute advantage, because goodness knows the awareness is everything these days.
Yeah, I learned that I should have put me mower in for service before the season started. But like I say, it's back in the doctors now, and hopefully it will be ready for another cut next week.
That's right.
But looking at what the council have done, they've done a great job. Maybe I can hold off for the next couple of weeks. So, listen, I'll leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ the Jet, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. You can catch all episodes of the Speaking Frankly Football Show wherever you get your podcasts, including Amazon Music and Spotify. Please rate and review and leave feedback, because we do thrive on hearing the opinions of all our listeners. We are also available on social media platforms, most prevalently X and Facebook, under the banner term Speaking Frankly. So from both of us, we will see you next week for another episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. Until then, bye-bye for now.